Hi, Jane Brady here, Chair of the Delaware Republican Party, and with me today is Julianne Murray, candidate for Governor of the state of Delaware. Hello there, Julianne.
Hey, Jane, how are you? It's good to be here.
Good to see you. So tell the people that are going to be watching this video a little bit about yourself.
Glad to. I'm sure people want to know who they're voting for. I am 50 years old. I am an attorney, managing partner of a firm, Murray, Phillips & Gay in Georgetown. I'm married, have no children. I am a dog mom. We have 5 dogs. That's crazy, but it is our family. And I come from an interesting background. I have an undergraduate degree in human resource management and worked in training as a staff trainer in the federal prison system in the early 90s. Moved back to the East Coast and was a paralegal, intellectual property paralegal for several years. And then my husband and I moved to Delaware in 2003. And I was the law firm administrator for a firm here in Georgetown. And in 2008, at the age of 38, opted to go to law school, continued to work and go to law school, graduated in 2011, passed the bar, and then opened my own firm in 2012, Murray Law LLC. And since then have practiced. I've added 2 partners. We have a firm of 10, and have my practice areas have varied. They've been constitutional issues, but I have also, my main practice areas for the past 5 years have been estate planning and criminal defense. So kind of a varied background.
Great. What motivated you to choose to run for governor of Delaware?
And it's a question I get asked, and it's a fair one, obviously, because I'm absolutely a political outsider. Governor Carney's COVID restrictions, the state of emergency, while I think declaring the state of emergency was appropriate in March when, with the information that everybody had, I think that there should have been a revisiting of it, and I think that the restrictions moved into unconstitutional territory. I can't tell you the date that it happened, but I can say that I believe that the choices that were made about essential businesses versus non-essential businesses, the choices that were made about church congregations and about the use of property for short-term rentals all crossed into unconstitutional territory. In May, I filed a federal lawsuit, May 15th, challenging Governor Carney's short-term rental ban. And it was, the purpose of it was somebody needed to push back. And it was, I felt very strongly that no one had challenged the governor on his power, that he had moved into a dictatorial role that bothered me, and that somebody needed to stand up and challenge him. That was important. And so I filed the lawsuit, and there was an outgrowth of support that came from that, hundreds of emails and a push. People asked me if I had ever considered running for governor before. I had not, but it gave me pause. And I started talking to people that are in politics, outside politics, and kind of floated the idea that, could a political outsider come into this particular election and possibly win the seat? And part of that was looking at that Delaware has traditionally been a very strong Democrat state, but that I viewed Governor Carney as vulnerable in this election, but that I felt and wanted to know if other people felt that the candidate that runs against him, the electorate has to like. That people who voted for Governor Carney last time and aren't going to vote for him this time, if they're just disenchanted, they just won't vote. That they need to have somebody that they can gravitate to. And did they think that my personality and that my message would be well received? And I got a very resounding yes for that. And so that is the genesis of why I came into this race.
So you're motivated by one issue, but what are the issues you hope to address if you become governor of Delaware?
Several things, and I would say that you're correct that the motivation came in as over COVID-19 restrictions, but the reality here in Delaware is that we have several big issues that were big even before COVID-19. The economy is an issue across several different areas. Delaware was predicted to have a recession in 2020 without COVID-19. We have almost no growth. We have median household income going down instead of up. We have businesses that have migrated away from the state, and the reason that they've migrated away is severalfold. One is the corporate tax rate. The actual rate is tied for the highest with California, but our effective tax rate is the highest because we have a gross receipts tax. A lot of people don't realize that a gross receipts tax is paid whether a business is profitable or not profitable, because it's based on gross receipts. We have very high energy costs here between, and this is kind of been legislated in with a carbon tax and the renewable portfolio standard. Both of those are adding to our energy costs. And when you're a business and you're looking at coming to Delaware, you look at the bottom line and look at things that, hard costs, and energy is very high in Delaware. And then we have a lot of regulations, and those big three, the taxes, the energy cost, and the regulations, are job killers. They have chased businesses out. They are strangling our small businesses, and small businesses are the lifeblood of the economy because it's where the jobs come from. So from my perspective, economy is huge, and needs to be addressed. Very closely related, believe it or not, is actually education, because the people, the workers who come here want their kids to go to good schools. We have an education system where 40% of the budget is going to education, and 1 in 5 are proficient when they graduate. And we have a very complicated bureaucracy with school districts and administration and a bunch of different things that are not actually benefiting our students. I also have, I think that from a curriculum standpoint, I've used this quote several times, that Abraham Lincoln says that the philosophy in the schoolroom in one generation is the philosophy of government in the next. We need to be teaching our kids how to think, not what to think. And I have concerns, in Delaware as it relates to that. And then I would say the third kind of big issue is related to healthcare, and the certificate of need, and repealing the certificate of need, and kind of opening up competition in Delaware, and improving healthcare to for the citizens.
Excuse me. Great.
Bless you.
Thank you. This is going out to not just on social media and our YouTube channel, but also to the delegates and alternates. And what would you like to specifically address to the delegates and alternates to the convention?
Several things. One is that I think that we are at a tipping point in Delaware, and that we have an opportunity this election to get a Republican in as the governor. But I think that we as a party have to be looking at the person that is most electable, and the person who is best suited to go head to head with John Carney. But I think that there's something that has to be weaved there. I think that he has to be challenged on some of his own decisions and some of his own policies. I think that the 30 years of Democrat rule has to be challenged. That's not all him, but that's part of him. But I also think that we need to not alienate independent voters and moderate Democrats. And, so it can't be a campaign of this is everything that has been done wrong. I think there has to be a positive spin to things, and a positive message that says, let's fix this. And that that pitch is very important. It needs to be given in a genuine way by a person that the voters will identify with. And I think that I am uniquely postured in this particular election because I think I can appeal to a lot of different demographics. I am I do think in this particular election nationally, I think a female candidate has a good opportunity in this case to appeal potentially to a different group. I think that my criminal defense background puts me in a particular able to speak about things that other people may not be able to speak about. But the biggest thing is that I have energy and I have passion about this, and I can speak from the heart, and I can be persuasive in what I see and what I think we need to do. And I think that unlike a lot of other people, that if you give me 5 minutes in a room, that I can convince people in a way that what I'm going to use the phrase kind of traditional politician can't. I have had people say to me that, well, you're not coming from politics, so you don't, that's a problem. And I actually think that it's the opposite. I think that as a nation in 2016, we were, the non-politician was actually viewed positively. I think Delaware can adopt that. And I think that, unfortunately, for at least a couple of the candidates, the people are viewing politicians unfavorably, even if they don't deserve it. People are painting in very broad strokes right now. And I mean, I have heard hundreds of voters say, I will vote for anybody who is not in politics right now. So I think that when you weigh all of these different issues, the politician, non-politician, energy, no energy, able to be comfortable in front of people and be persuasive, able to reach across a lot of different demographics, and to be able to convey a sincerity and a passion, as well as articulate, be able to to articulate that. I think that I think I'm uniquely postured for this particular election, and that that it behooves everybody to consider that when from a delegate standpoint or an alternate, when you're thinking about that, be thinking about the person that you think could go head to head, and and be able to really challenge Governor Carney.
Okay, great. Julianne Murray, thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to the primary, or the convention and primary that might follow. Take care.
All right, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay, Kim?